So this is David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, and it's a semi-autobiographical account of Charles Dickens, and the character he uses to portray the story is David Copperfield. David Copperfield goes through adventurous odyssey and eventually end up becoming a novelist, and what which is also similar with uh, Charles Dickens. And Charles Dickens, the theme of this is very big book, and it has 64 chapters. The theme of the book is loneliness, solitariness, and eventually then companionship with people he loves and likes. And so this is quite a journey you go on, and it takes years and years to to the story to end. I mean, in the book, not literally. So as I've just said, the loneliness, companionship, but the which are it's a very strange theme to summarize, because I'm saying he deals with loneliness and then companionship. Those are two very different, not very different, but person who so he was confined after his father died, and then his mother died, and then he was at the mercy of two people, his stepfather and his stepfather's sisters, who treated him rather nastily. And then he ended up at a, walking in some rough house, and then he goes to live with a family, and then he end up at his grand aunt house, who was mentioned in the beginning of the book. So there are a lot of characters, and when he goes to his grand aunt, so that is only the middle of the book. So then he goes to his aunt, and then his aunt enrolled him into a school, and he was a good student, and he excelled at studies, and then he pursues to become a barrister, and he studies to be a barrister, and then he starts writing, and he becomes a novelist. He marries a girl called Dora Spindler, who dies, and so that was also a very complicated character. And there is a villain in the character called Uriah Heep, and he is David Copperfield is friend with some other girl called Angus, and whose house he lived in when he was was attending school. So that is the girl he eventually end up marrying after his first wife dies. So Uriah Heep is a kind of villain in the story, and it's a very, as I've just said, it's a very unfathomable journey, because it takes years and years to reach the end. And so there are a lot of characters, and there is a lot of although I'm just skimming through the whole story, there is other characters that you will see are very as it is as it happens in a story. There are different characters, but there are more characters that one can deal with. So there are a lot of characters. So that was my point. So the Charles Dickens, I don't like Charles Dickens as a person, but he's a great writer. I can say that. And this book has similar to other books. His other books was Oliver Twist. So that a theme of orphanage, and the theme of being alone, and the theme of being abandoned is something that he explores constantly in his books, and certainly this is the one of them. So you should